What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. I'm your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here this morning. I do greatly appreciate that. Now, if this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much as well. You guys are pretty much the lifeblood of what makes this show exactly what it is, showing up here to help me, to watch me flap my gums. I guess you're not helping me, but I guess you guys do help. You guys give me stuff to talk about here all the time as we have a very good time talking about, usually movies here on the morning movie chat. I mean, it is the morning movie chat, right? Well, as in case you guys were here yesterday, what I've kind of been doing here on the channel is doing talking more about comic books on Wednesdays, and I think at some point I'm probably going to gear maybe Thursdays a little more towards that as well for others who have out there. Finally got their comic books, and we can talk about those things as well. But today I'm going to talk, just about a few things other than, just comic books. The one thing I do want to say, though, guys, is if you didn't already check out my comic book pull list for the week, make sure you go and check it out. I did a little short review there during that video, as my local comic book shop did lend me Morbius the Living Vampire to do a review on that. And if you have a local comic book shop near you, you should get out and support them. Local comic book shops are absolutely great, and I can guarantee you, if you have one near you, they probably are much like mine, where they don't have just comic books. They probably have like posters, trading cards, action figures, T-shirts, just all kinds of different things to to help serve your nerdy needs. So, yeah, go ahead and get right into some things today. One thing, honestly, before I even get into all that, could you do me a favor and make sure that you're subscribed, and click that little bell so you get notifications, all that good stuff. But also make sure you share this video with a friend. Tell them to come hang out with us. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you here. And as we go over and talk just about, some of our favorite things going on out there in the world. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about the new Disney Plus streaming service. I'm not sure if you guys have got the new Disney Plus streaming service, but I think you guys should definitely, if you're into that kind of stuff, you might want to give it a try. I mean, I do know that apparently they have a 7-day free trial in case you're, a little bit, on the fence about wanting to purchase this service. Hey, man, I totally get it. I totally understand that. Like, for me, myself, I have 3 kids, so for me, it was kind of like a no-brainer. Like, hey, they got lots of original Disney content on there for my kids to enjoy, you know what I mean? And for me, I grew up watching a lot of like the old Disney movies and things like that, and I was talking about that on Tuesday as well. I grew up watching a lot of these classic films, and they've got a lot of their back catalog there on the service, which is absolutely great. And they've also got some new original shows. Obviously, the one thing everybody's talking about is The Mandalorian. They've got that on there. I did get to watch that first episode. It was very good. And I finally got a chance to sit down and watch this new TV show. God, was it the World According to Jeff Goldblum? Isn't that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. 19K Fox, thank you so much for being here this morning, sir. I hope you're having a good morning. So yeah, I finally got a chance to watch this TV show, this Jeff Goldblum show, where he is, I guess, the world according to Jeff Goldblum, where he's going around doing different things. It seems like it's a lot like, there's been other TV shows out there just like that, where they show you like the making of this, or how they do this, or how they do that, just those kinds of things. And with a Jeff Goldblum twist. And to me, I gotta say, it was something I rather quite enjoyed. I did get a chance to watch that first episode that he did on the sneakers, where they went into the different factories, just talking about shoes and stuff like that, which I thought was actually it was a pretty good little show. And I wish it's a cool thing about this series. One thing I definitely like that I think they're doing right at Disney Plus so far with their content is they're actually they're not releasing like whole seasons at once. You know what I mean? They're not dropping the whole season of content at once, and I think that's actually a good thing. While I'm not against Rosetta Allen, thank you so much for being here. Dylan's Comic Book Rants, thank you so much for being here again as well, my friend. The one thing I like about this Disney Plus streaming service is that they are not dropping everything at once. You know what I mean? So you can't just go out there and binge it. And I know, I totally get that there are some people out there who like everything dropping at once, so you can sit there and binge watch every single one of your shows. And hey, I understand that too. If you don't like that about it, I get that. But the one thing I would say is you could always wait until they've released all of the season, and then go and watch it. You don't have to watch one episode right now and wait. I mean, you can certainly do that. And if you're one of the people out there who's leery about the service, don't want to get it, that's one of the things I would suggest waiting, is wait until, middle of December. Maybe if you're not somebody who, if you have your reservations, maybe you're somebody who hasn't liked like The Last Jedi and things like that, and you're very leery about jumping on board. Hey, just wait until the movies get ready to come out that week, or until all the episodes have come out. Wait till that week. Use that 7-day free trial. Watch all the shows. Go through the app. See how everything is, and then decide. Hey, is this for me or is it not for me? And it's not like you're signing signing a contract in blood. You can always cancel it at any time. And but I've got to say, for $7 a month, it's not bad. It's not a bad service to have. I mean, like I said, they've got all the classic Disney movies on there. They're going to have their own shows coming up and things like that. So there's definitely a lot of things here that are good for somebody. I mean, for $7 a month, you know what I mean? Like, movie ticket, if you go to the movies, a movie ticket costs more than $7 anyway. And to get this service is only $7. And, like I said, to me, that's not too bad. And plus, I've got kids, so it was kind of something that was going to happen for me anyway. So, yeah, just to Rican in his comics. What's up, my brother Rod? How you doing, sir? Rosetta Allen says, I will never support Disney Plus. I have way too many issues with Disney as a company. That said, it's not my place to tell others not to watch it. Yeah, agreed. And I get that. I mean, if you don't like Disney, I mean, obviously you're not going to support Disney Plus, and that's fine. And that's kind of brings me to something else I've seen out there, where I've seen other people out there who are upset because other people who have been critical of the Disney Star Wars and things like that, like upset because other people out there who have been critical have enjoyed it. And this to me is just weird. I'm not sure where, and a matter of fact, I posted on my Twitter about it. I'm not sure where these weirdos come from. Where are you so stuck in your fandom that somebody else can't enjoy a TV show? That they can't enjoy something? Like, you're literally trying to ruin something for others. You're saying, like, hey man, you've been critical of this stuff and you can't like it. You shouldn't be liking it. You shouldn't be happy that this show came out and enjoy it. You know what I mean? And it's not saying that, like these people are out there praising Disney or anything for, this one episode of the show. Hey, I get it. People that have the reservations, I totally understand that. I mean, that to me makes sense. But to go out there and poo-poo on somebody else's enjoyment of the TV show just to me seems odd. And I'm just like, where's this coming from? Like, you're literally saying that somebody else can't enjoy a TV show, or somebody else can't enjoy, what they're getting. And that's not to say that these people are out there going, "Oh my God, like I'm totally changed. Like, I'm all for Disney Star Wars now." And all, like, I haven't heard anybody say that. Anybody that's the on the side of they've been critical of like The Last Jedi and everything that Disney Star Wars is getting. I haven't heard any of those people just outright saying, "Yay! Like, this is it! Like, we've won." I haven't heard anybody say that. But yeah, I see people out there acting like that's what's going on. And even if there was people out there, like I said, people that have been that way. Somebody out there saying, "Hey, I like the show. It was really good. I quite enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to more. I'm not giving in. I'm not giving in and saying it's great." But I did enjoy what I got. Like, I don't understand people out there who can't be happy that other people, or that have to be upset or critical, or not be, I guess just not be happy that other people are enjoying the show. I mean, what's wrong with you? what's wrong with you that other people can't enjoy the content that they're getting? That's not to say that they're just, throwing their hands in the air saying, "Oh, that's it, we're done, we're back on board with Disney and Star Wars." I haven't heard anybody that's been critical of it say that. I have heard people say, like, "Hey, yeah, it was a good show. I'm gonna give it, a few more episodes, or wait till we get to the end of the season and how it is, see how it is." And I get that. I totally understand that. I mean, I don't see anybody that's been highly critical of the, just of Disney and the Star Wars content we've been getting. I see no reason why they would just jump on board. I totally understand that. But for somebody else to just be out there like, "Oh, you can't be liking this. What's wrong with you? You don't, man, we've been sitting here fighting this whole time, and all of a sudden you're out there all of a sudden just enjoying this Disney Star Wars stuff." I just don't get it. I don't get that. I don't get that mentality, man. Like, it's okay for people to like what they like, but that's not to say that you have to like it. It's just saying that other people like what they're getting. And like I said, certainly people out there are going to hold their reservations about it. And that's perfectly fine. But you don't have to poo poo on somebody else's party, right? I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's just me. But again, I understand that. Phelan Reacts, thank you for being here. Good morning to you. Rosetta Allen says, I'm probably one of the most hardcore Duck Fisney people to exist, but I don't like linchpin thought and group mentality. Yeah, and that's the thing is like I said, people are gonna have their reservations. It's totally understandable. You didn't like the Last Jedi. You haven't liked. And I think for me, I think the one thing is, and I totally get. A lot of people are largely upset, and this is something one of the other content creators here on YouTube, Lethal Lightning, was even pointing out on Twitter when because I made a post about this exact thing, was that like he's not really like super critical about the Star Wars, about the content itself. What he's more upset about is like people like Ryan Johnson or some of the creators, Kathleen Kennedy, who have gone out there and really kind of not rallied against the fans, but have been critical of fans and kind of been disparaging towards the fans who have been critical of the content. And that I get. I totally understand that. Like, you're upset at these certain people. Hey, I understand that. Why? I mean, I would be upset about that too. You know what I mean? So people coming out there, but like again, I don't put much stock into what a lot of these people say or what a lot of these people do out there in these interviews and all that stuff. Like just like last year with the whole Brie Larson thing. Before they started really going in hard for Captain Marvel into the marketing. She made those comments in the at a women in films. Like God, what was that? Like an award ceremony thing. Like she made some remarks and upset a lot of people, and I totally get that. But for me, I come from the stance of I don't care what she thinks. I don't care what Brie Larson thinks and what she thinks is who for who and all that. I don't care about that. Now, however, I do there was a I think there was a point that she was making that I agree with that largely goes unrecognized because of the comments that she made, and I totally get that. I'm on board with that. You want to be upset about that? That's fine. But again, for me, I don't put stock into what these people say. You know what I mean? Like Brie Larson, I don't care what she thinks about who criticizes their movies. I don't care what she thinks about a whole lot of things. I certainly don't care about their personal politics. You know what I'm saying? That's save that for somebody else, man. Save that for another interview or something like that. But yeah, but like I get that. If you're upset about people who have lashed out at the fan base and things like that, I understand that. But to me, that's still save your reservations for them. Let your discontent be with them, because I mean, largely, I like if you're gonna let somebody's comments towards like say Ryan Johnson, how he's kind of lashed out at fans. Apparently, I don't know a whole lot about that. I don't pay attention to it. But if you're gonna be upset at Ryan Johnson and him kind of disparaging fans, that's totally understandable and that's completely your right. But to be upset and say like I don't want to like this show because they went out there and they were being jerks to fans like the show didn't do that. The show is just the show. You either like it or you don't. That's really about it. I mean, I don't know. That's really about it. You don't have to like the show. Nobody's gonna say that. You have reservations. I get that, but not liking the show just because of what some director or producer or something like that thinks or some actor thinks is kind of ridiculous, which is kind of my thing. Like, a whole lot of people didn't want to go see Captain Marvel and all that stuff and all the movie just basically based on Brie Larson's comments in the media. And, again, people are fine, okay to feel that way, but to just say the movie sucks and you have not seen it or anything like that, it's like, well, watch the movie first and then decide if it sucks or not. And, then decide. But of course, you're still going into that with even the mindset that, hey, I didn't like what she said, so you're still going to have a little bit of bias. And that's okay. But again, for me, it still comes down to why poo poo on somebody else's party if they're enjoying what they like. You know what I mean? Like, different strokes for different folks. Something I say a lot here on this channel lately. But just to crap on somebody else's, party, it just seems nonsensical to me. You know what I mean? And to me, these are the people that like I discount you even more than I do like some of these directors and actors comments when you have to crap on somebody else's party that's just enjoying something. They're not praising it. They're just saying, hey, that was a good first episode. I liked it. Yeah. Hopefully it continues to go in the right direction that it seems like they're going right here. I think that's a perfectly fine assessment. You know what I mean? It's not giving them praise. It's saying, hey, I'm giving this a chance. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. It's just some of these people, bro. They're just weirdos. They're just weirdos to me. You know what I mean? Like these like total fanboys or anti fanboys. I don't know what it is. I don't know what people's thing is in there where they have to say something about the level of enjoyment that somebody else can get out of something that they enjoy. It's just weird to me. Just weird to me. Um, let's see. Okay. Just a Rican says I need to get back to work. All right, man. Just a Rican in his comics. I'm sure we're all looking forward to seeing your live stream on your lunch about some of the comic books that you picked up this week. Kermit the Log says, Second Street Marvel, I just got Disney Plus. The log wants what the log wants. That's great. That's great, man. So did you do the monthly service or did you just do the 7-day free trial for now? I mean, honestly, the thing is, I would do the 7-day free trial to see if it's something that you like, honestly. And I think most people definitely will. I mean, I'm sure it probably gives you the option too. They just give you the 7 days free if you're going to sign up anyway. So, but yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. And for me, like, there's more than just Star Wars content on there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like Star Wars. I'm just not like some like huge Star Wars nerd. Like I am a Marvel nerd. Like I am a Marvel geek. You know what I mean? For me, it's seeing. And it's not even about the Marvel movies because I own all the damn Marvel movies. You know what I'm saying? It's not about having those on there. But it is kind of nice, And like I said, I own them. They're all on digital and all that stuff. I already own all those. For me, it's like a lot more about some of the different TV shows and things they have on there, and especially like some of the Marvel content. They got like the Silver Surfer, the Spider-Man, and most of all, they've got the X-Men on there. Yeah, man, that X-Men show that we all remember from the '90s when some of us were growing up, some of us were already older, some of us were probably just little kids when that came out. Like me, I was already. God, I think that came out in like '92. I would have been a teenager by the time that show came out. But I remember watching that show when it came out, like Saturday morning cartoons. We didn't have Cartoon Network when I was growing up. Okay, we didn't have it. We had to wait for Saturdays. And that's one of the things that I think is cool about this Disney Plus streaming service is the fact like their original content that they're putting on there, they have it on there because, so you can't just go out there and binge it, which like I said, some don't like that, but it gives you something to talk about week to week. Something my mother always used to say when we were growing up, and that's absence makes the heart grow fonder. And basically to me that just means that in the case of these TV shows, like you get one a week, so you're looking forward to it every week. You have something new to talk about every week. We have a whole week to talk about this one TV show until the next one comes out the next week, and that's awesome. Instead of like, hey, I binged it all in one day. I have something to talk about for a week, and then after that, I completely forget about it, and it might be another few months before I even think about watching it again. So I'm again, but that's just people enjoy their content in different ways too. So I said, I don't know, where do you fall? Where do you fall on that scale? Are you somebody who wants to have to be able to binge everything right now, or are you happy and content with getting one episode and then waiting and then getting another episode and waiting? I don't know. I like the episode and waiting thing, but sometimes I like binging too. It really depends. It really does kind of depend. But one thing I do like is that we get no commercials. There's none of that kind of stuff out there. I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that. So let's see what else we got here. Rosetta Allen says, I didn't like The Last Jedi, was bored to tears with The Force Awakens, but my issues with Disney go way past Star Wars and into the company, how they operate, the way they destroy small businesses, and the way they treat native culture. And that's something, you're talking about something there that I've said for quite a while is like, it seems like, like we see all these people out there these days who are talking about all this stuff about just about things like that, like what do they call it? I can't even remember what they call it when they're taking other nationalities and stuff like that, and like not being true to exactly what the culture is. Man, what's the word that I'm looking for? Cultural appropriation. I'm surprised Disney hasn't been called out so many times for cultural appropriation that is ridiculous. Because like literally, like every single thing they do is that. They seriously, literally, like appropriate every single culture, and and again, I get people being upset about that, totally. But at some point, I mean, like, unless you have everybody on board that completely understands these cultures and everything, there's always going to be some of that lost in translation, or just bringing those kinds of things to screen. Now, obviously, that is somewhat on their part for not putting people in positions that understand these cultures or know these cultures or are part of these cultures to produce this content. But at the same time, it's kind of hard too, because maybe you just don't have somebody that is in that knows about that particular culture to bring into your movie production. And I know some people out there will probably be like, oh, well, they need to get somebody, just somebody. But you don't want just somebody, you know what I mean? You need somebody who is good, who has been in film production, TV production, writing, any whatever level of production they're going into. You need somebody who knows about it and is good at it. You don't want to just get somebody who sucks at it. Otherwise, you're going to put out sucky content. But yeah, I mean, I totally get that. Like I said, I don't have any problems with people being critical of these companies and stuff like that as well, as far as what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. PerpMinded says, "What's up, man? How you doing this morning?" Rosetta Allen says, "Dicks and airplanes, perp. Hope you're doing well." Let's see. Kermit the Log says, "I enjoy different strokes." Yeah, I bet you do. um, the 19K Fox says, "I personally hate crap on my party." Yeah, yeah, I understand that. I understand that. I right. Kermit the Log says, "Hail 19K Fox. I thought it got handsome in here." Yeah, man. That is one handsome looking dude too, man. He was here on the show on Friday on the Trailer Park Live, and like, I'm like, man, my handsomeness, man. I know this is one good looking dude you're looking at right here, but then I put up, and get 19K Fox next to me. I'm like, dang, man, why you gotta make me look bad, bro? What's up with that? Want to have a good looks contest? Oh man. Bought for the year at $70. Yeah, and that's not a bad deal, because I mean, you're essentially getting the 2 months for free. And speaking of which, that's the thing, is like, I always crack up where I hear people talking about like, I'm not going out to the theater to watch that. I'll wait till it comes on Netflix and watch it for free. Like, so, because sometimes I want to just tell these people, like, for free, man, somebody's paying for it. Even if you're using somebody else's password for Netflix, it's not free, man. Somebody's paying for it, okay? Chances are it's your parents. Oh man. Kermit the Log says, "Such a catalog. They have the X-Men animated series, DuckTales, and other stuff that pair well with my weed." Right? Yeah, man. I think I'm already 3 episodes in on the X-Men series. Man, I remember being a kid watching that show, man. I loved that show growing up when that stuff came out. Like I said, for me and probably for you too, Kermit, when we were growing up, we had to wait for Saturday. You know what I mean? We couldn't just go to Disney Plus and binge the whole dang season, in one week. You know what I'm saying? Like, or one day. But we had to wait a whole week, and there's something to be said for that, for stuff coming out week after week and having to wait for it. It just keeps you on your toes, keeps you looking forward to something. PerpMinded says that Netflix and Nickelodeon is big, and HBO Max coming with heat. It's starting to look look a little spooky for Disney Plus. And I think for me, I think to me it's a good thing. It's a good thing having all of these different streaming companies competing for their space for your dollar. I mean, that's a good thing overall. What's bad about it is, like some people have mentioned, like, oh, now, like, all of a sudden, we unplugged, so then we got to pay for all these services, and we're paying the exact same thing now. Well, hold on there, because you don't have to subscribe to all the services, and I think most of these services are month to month. They're not yearly contracts. You can subscribe for 1 month and go on. You can drop all your other services and have just Disney Plus for now, until you've absorbed enough of that content, and then you can add whatever ones you want into. I mean, and that's the thing, is now you get to pick and choose. You're not just paying, $100 and some odd to your cable company for a bunch of content you're probably not watching. Which begs the other question. Something I was even seeing Young Ripper 59 talking about was like, look, like, you don't have to subscribe to all these channels, and chances are you're not watching all of them. I mean, you might be. You might be watching one show here, one show there from each of the different services. I'm not saying that nobody is doing it, but I'm just saying that is it necessary for us to have all of these things? I mean, it's so much content to consume. I mean, why wouldn't you drop one and pick up the other and different things like that? And the cool thing is like with Amazon, with Amazon, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you automatically get a lot of their streaming shows anyway. So that's a cool thing. That's a cool thing. Plus, you get you get your free shipping when you buy your stuff. But so that's a cool thing. Like overall, it's really cool. But the competition, like PerpMinded is saying here, is that's a good thing. Now the thing is every so at some point everybody's going to pull their own content from things like Netflix and stuff like that, and that's fine. That's fine because Netflix will be just fine. Their subscribership has been somewhat going down, but there's always going to be fluctuation when it comes to the market. You know what I mean? Like people who are subscribed to Disney Plus now, a year from now they might not be subscribed. Hell, 2 months from now they might not be. Maybe they're just here for the Mandalorian and they're going to subscribe for the 2 months and then they're going to drop it. That's okay. That's a good thing. That is a good thing that these companies are out there able to actually be able to put their content directly for you, so you don't have to pay for that overpriced cable bill. Now, however, the thing that I'm curious about is how actual cable does. I mean, because to me, there's still a point for that, and hopefully, all of these content. Producers, these studios still keep all their content there on in cable packages for people to watch. To me, that would be wrong if like all of a sudden like Disney's like, nope, we're not allowing any of our content to be part of a cable package. We're just pulling that and you can't get it. You got to come to us. To me, that's wrong because then you're outing people who don't want to do the digital streaming services. And to me, that's the important thing. But overall, I think all this stuff is really, really good for the marketplace, and for consumers, honestly. Phelan Reacts has oh gosh, I was 9 when it came out. I loved the show. Was always mad when we didn't see more storylines on Morph. Yeah. I'm not sure if he was in the comics. Yeah, I'm not sure if he was in the comics neither, but I do remember, Morph in there. Like, because I was watching the shows and I'm sitting there like, Morph. I'm like, dang, I completely forgot about Morph, man. Because, I was watching it and I'm sitting there. All I'm thinking is Mystique, not Morph. You know what I mean? Rosetta Allen says, Second Street, I don't think you're that old. Cartoon Network starting at the beginning of the 90s. Well, I was old enough that that I wasn't watching as many cartoons on Saturdays during the 90s. I mean, I was born in the 70s. I'm 40 years old now. I'm 40. I'm getting old. Can't you see all that salt and pepper in there? See all the beautiful salt and pepper? Yeah. PerpMinded says, but the benefit of having all the episodes you can watch at your own pace. Yeah. And like I said, some people wanna binge it, some people don't. I like the fact that with the original series, they're doing it week to week, so it gives us something to talk about, so that it doesn't become obsolete after a week. You know what I mean? But again, some people do like to binge, and they will wait to watch all of the series, I'm sure, because not everybody is like, like some of us are like, oh, I gotta know what's going on right now. I gotta avoid all the spoilers and everything on, that are on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all that stuff. So to some people, it's just like, I'll watch it when I get around to it. Let's see, where else we got here. Well, it jumped. Chaos and Comics, what's up, my brother? How you doing this morning? Rosetta Allen says they portray dreamcatchers and native culture as satanic black magic. There's a difference between errors versus sheer slander, and I don't tend to go into the cultural appropriation stuff. I agree, and that's why I said that's part of the problem. Is that's why when they're doing something like that, they certainly haven't been cognizant of it in the past, trying to bring people in who know more about the culture and things like that, and obviously the negative portrayals. But at the same time, even with the negative portrayals, I kind of feel like in any classification of human being, not everybody is a bunch of angels neither. You know what I mean? Like there's good and there's bad amongst every group, and we can see that, and we see that just out in the real world. But certainly, at least do your best to hold some to be as accurate as possible, at least within your knowledge. And these days, I think that the thing is, so nowadays it's just like, everything's so instantaneous with social media that the backlash is just instantaneous and you hear about it like right now, you know what I mean? As opposed to, back in the day, people would have to write letters and things like that. So yeah, I mean, there's, there's always some give and take, but yeah, I totally understand, like I said, where you're coming from there, Rosetta. Um, Let's see. Will Gentry, what's up? How you doing this morning? He says, other than going to the cinema half a dozen times, I haven't paid for a film in about 10 years or more. Oh, fair enough. Like me, I like going to the movies. I grew up, we always went to the movies when I was a kid, and something I do as well. Take my kids to the movies. Like for me, I like to go. I like to go see them anyway. I like to see things on the big screen. It just like for me, for real, like in the early 2000s when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, like I used to literally go to almost every single movie that was at the movie theater. Like one day I go to see this movie, the next day I go see this movie. Sometimes I see two movies in one day, even movies that I wasn't for sure if I'd like, just because I like consuming movies. I just enjoy films, and of course, there's people out there who aren't into that. So, um, let's see. Rosetta says, I was supposed to be on the road today, but that got delayed till tomorrow. So now I am bored here, pestering poor Second Street Marvel. Nah, you're all good to go. It's always a pleasure to have people here watching. Um, Chaos and Comics says, I get 3 years of Disney Plus for $70. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I think the one I got was like 140 or something like that for the 3 years, and for me, I'm okay with that because, like I said, I've got three kids, so for me, getting the service was just like kind of a no-brainer, I guess. Like I like a lot, and some of it was for me too. Admittedly, I wanted to see a lot of these shows coming up, so yeah. Rosetta Allen says, I will shamelessly sign up, at least temporarily for Peacock. For Peacock Evers just got my Psych movie. Dylan's comic book rant says, 3 years for 70. I saw a monthly pay, but I thought it was 70 for 3 years. Sound way better. Oh yeah, for sure. Chaos says it was a Founders Circle deal. I did it in August. Oh, okay. See, apparently I didn't get that one. Dang it! I paid twice that, but it's all good. I'm not worried about it because to me it's still cheaper than paying for some of the other services. Like Netflix cost me, what is it, like $12.99, $13.99 a month every month. Like 1 year of Netflix is what I paid for 3 years of Disney Plus service. So, and for me, the value is still there. I still see the value in what I paid for. Um, I still certainly see the value in what I paid for there. Rosetta Allen says, true Second Street, but Cartoon Network started almost the exact same time as the X-Men cartoon, and you only have a few years over me, buddy. Okay, did it? Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not for sure when Cartoon Network would have started. But yeah, I just remember everything was still there on Saturday mornings for a long time, and things like that. But yeah, and when I was growing up, we had satellite TV and we had the just scrambler chip and all that stuff, and we got to see like almost everything, even those adult channels. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess it would have been around the same time. But for the most part, I mean, I grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons. That's what it was all about. But yeah, I guess you are right. I mean, that does seem like it was all kind of around the same time period there. Yeah, and plus, I mean, I'm getting old, man. I already forgot those years. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel old, so that's the good thing. I'm getting old, but I'm not old. I'm not saying that. Um, Rosetta Allen says all groups have good and bad in their culture. Let's show accurately and respectfully, and I don't care who loves it, shares it, and wears the clothes. But my native art, it pays bills. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Agreed, agreed. Um, Chaos Chaos and Comics says I probably go to the movies 3 or 4 times a week. Yeah, see, and that's good. I mean, that's what I used. That's where I used to be at. In the, around the turn of the century or the turn of the millennium. Oh, how many can say that? Around the turn of the millennium. Yeah, I used to go when I first moved out here to California around 2001, 2002. Like I literally used to spend my money going. Well, a lot on beer and weed, but then I used to spend the rest of my money going to the movies a lot, buying DVDs and just things like that, and obviously music CDs and stuff. But yeah, yeah, I used to go quite often, for me, I just like the movie going experience. That's, I just enjoy it. Phelan React says, y'all have fun going to see Joker today. Keep it real. I'll also totally like this video. Well, thank you so much for being here, Phelan Reacts. And yeah, go to the movies, man. Go see Joker. If you haven't seen it already, man, you're missing out. you're missing out, but you're gonna go see it. So good on you, because I'm telling you that movie Joker is really good. I can't wait to have that, to own that one and put it up on my DVD shelf. Yeah, I still buy DVDs. I still buy DVDs. I'm still, like I'm of the age where I fall right on that cusp of, like not totally wanting to give into the technology and the way things are going, and still being, I guess, somewhat of a fossil and giving into it. Like I still embrace it all. I embrace it all. Um, Let's see, Ryan H. Den of Nerds, executive producer. What's that? He says there was definitely a period I wasn't going to the theaters, but now with my daughter, it's brought the experience back around. Yeah, and you're exactly right, Ryan. Like for me, that's what like I kind of thought, even like because I'm a cyclist, one of the things I thought when I started having kids was like oh man, this is gonna take away from my cycling. This is gonna take away from my movie experience, stuff like that. I can't go to the movies. I want to take my kids and all that. But luckily for me, me and my wife, we've got three kids. We got two girls and a boy. A boy being the youngest. Is our kids are really good at the theater. Like I remember one time we went to the movie theater, and I can't remember what movie it was we went to, but this older couple, after the movie was over, they came up to me and my wife and they said, you know what? I just want to tell you guys have like the best kids. They're really behaved, because when we saw you walk in with the kids, we almost left the movie theater, because a lot of kids, get out of hand, they get loud and everything. But your kids are really quiet and they're really good. And we just wanted to say, we just want to, basically give you a pat on the back. And like that felt really good. But that's kind of one of the things, like, like I grew up going to the movies, and, with my father, you weren't late to the movies. No, no, we're not late to the movies, we're there, you're on time, and you're always quiet and you watch the movie. And my kids were always quiet. Like when they were born, when they were babies, even newborns, they slept through the night. They were really good about that. And one of the things now for me is I like to go to the movies, and I like to see the looks on their faces as they react to these movies and things like that, and see if they understand sort of some of the narratives and just things that are going on in the films, and just some of the emotionally driven parts and things like that, and see if they understand it. And a lot of times, even ever since they were little, I could see the looks on their faces, as I remember taking them to watch Inside Out, seeing the looks of concern on their face, and just seeing all their different little micro expressions and everything. And it makes me feel warm inside. You know what I mean? It really does. Knowing that these filmmakers are making good films, and they're making it to the point where a kid understands it. Where the kid actually gets what's going on. They feel the emotional weight of exactly what's going on in the movies, and that lets me know, for one thing, like, okay, this is obviously a good movie. They're doing something right within this film, or within this movie, within this animated movie, whatever have you. If my kids can see it and feel it, they're doing something right. And like, and to me, that makes me feel good about it, too. Like I just love seeing that look on their faces when we're there watching a movie. And then even just like things like when like that new movie, that new Jumanji, the next level comes out. I can't wait to take my kids to that, just to see the look of pure joy on their faces. They're set there watching the movie and laughing along with it, because I already know it's going to be a laugh riot. It's going to be a good time. And there's going to be some serious stuff in there. And I know that my kids are going to understand all that. And that's one thing and that's one thing I just love about movies, and the actor's journey and the process, anyways, is just seeing that, knowing that movies and music and just all these different things can make us feel that way. That's the thing I love about all these different forms of media, even things just like comic books, man. I've read some of the comic books out there, and I'm sitting there reading them, and they get me emotionally. They pull me in emotionally, and they make me feel emotional about some of the things that are going on in them. And like, it's just a true testament to good writing and good directing, good filmmaking, just all these different things, man, that I really enjoy. So yeah, definitely having the kids, yeah, it's a new experience for you. Once you start having the kids, if you're going out to the movies, it's a new experience for you, to see them experience it. It's just really great. Um, Chaos and Comics says it's still super cheap either way. Yeah, it is. It actually is. The service is like, I've heard people saying that they're like, oh, $7 a month. Like, you're griping about $7 a month when it's like almost one of the cheapest streaming services out there. It's cheaper than Netflix. It's technically it's cheaper than Amazon than the Amazon streaming service, the Amazon Prime. You know what I mean? It's cheaper than all of these things. So like I don't understand people's gripes about it. Like $7 a month is cheap. You know, like I said, even I seen Warster, put up this post like, "Oh, it's ridiculous." Kevin Feige saying that you have to watch these Marvel streaming shows to even understand the movies. And it's like, okay, for one, he didn't exactly say that. Now, the thing is, if you're a fan, you're going to want to watch them. You don't have to watch them. Any good writer, film producer, movie director, if they're bringing in one of these characters from the Disney Plus streaming service into their movie, they're going to do some setup in the movie and explain who this person is and what they're doing there to give people who don't watch the service to get them up to speed. Kevin Feige's thing is he's trying to sell you on the service. So of course he's going to say you have to watch it. You know what I'm saying? That's his job. His job isn't to say, "No, these aren't important to the MCU. You don't have to worry about the streaming service. Just go watch the movies." Why would he say that? That'd be a completely nonsensical statement for him to say something like, "Of course he's going to say you have to watch it." But do you have to? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So yeah, yeah, yeah. there's that. Like, you don't have to, go and watch and be subscribed to these services, but it's only going to add to it. If you're somebody who's invested in like the Marvel Cinematic Universe or Star Wars and wanting to watch The Mandalorian, why wouldn't you? Okay, and you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to subscribe for months on end. You can subscribe, wait till most of the content drops, subscribe for 1 month, watch all the TV shows for $7, and then cancel your subscription, and then just wait for the next series. There's nothing wrong with that, But people act like Disney's just taking and twisting your arm, saying you have to subscribe, you have to stay subscribed every month, because if you don't say, you know what, you can't watch any of the stuff that came before. If you subscribe, in 7 months from now, you don't get any of the previous content. You only get what you get right now. And that's not what it is. It's not what it is. I don't know. Like I said, just when it comes to these things these days, people just are so overreactionary about everything. Just like this whole thing with like the YouTube. If you're a YouTube content creator, I'm sure you've heard everybody out there, it's doomsday for YouTube content creators. YouTube's going to start deleting channels on December 10th, channels who aren't commercially viable, and things like that. COPPA's going to come after you. You're going to pay fines of $42,000 and la la. Like, guys. Okay, for one, like, all this stuff is funny. Like, and I constantly crack up the everybody for all these things is like, "Oh, it's doomsday. The sky is falling." Like, no. Like a lot of people see like the thing like, if we find you not commercially viable, we're gonna delete your channel. Well, the thing is like, commercially viable means so many different things. To me, it just means like, if you have a dead channel, you aren't growing subs. If you are a channel that like somebody watches your video and then they immediately leave YouTube and they're not on YouTube anymore, they're probably not finding you commercially viable. But if you're a small channel, you got 50 subscribers, you're slowly growing, but people watch your videos, they watch them for a few minutes, and then they stay on the platform. Like, you lead them to another video, they continue watching. You're commercially viable. But if you're one of these channels that like, every time somebody comes to one of your videos and then they immediately click off onto a website or somewhere else that's not YouTube, they're probably looking at you like, you don't keep people here, you don't keep our audience here, which is what we want. We want people to stay here. Stuff like that is probably what I'm looking more towards. Go look up your channel on Social Blade and see, like, what's your estimated monthly revenue. Even if you're not monetized, it tells you how much you could be potentially making. Like, are you making zero? That is what, to me, would be the biggest factor there, as far as channels being deleted, being commercially viable. You know what I mean? But of course, people see these things like, "Oh, it's doomsday," like, "Oh, it's coming to an end, F YouTube." And it's like, dude, it's like, that's on them. But the whole COPPA thing, that's not a YouTube thing. That's like, it's federal regulation. That's the FTC saying something about that. Isn't it FTC? Yeah, and that's them saying something. And even then, people are like, "Oh, like, I don't know what to say. Like, is it kids content?" Like, are you making content specifically for kids like me. I talk a lot about comic books, and certainly it falls under stuff that people would consider kids content because it has, dealing with Marvel comic book characters and things like that. But the thing is no, my channel isn't focused on kids. Now, however, kids can watch my content. For the most part, I do a lot of content that, I'm a lot of content where I don't curse or anything like that. I mean, I do comic book reviews. You know what I mean? Like that's technically for kids, but I'm not going to market that it's made for kids because it's not made specifically for kids. And also, like some of those things, like I think they were saying like if it's kids content, it's going to limit or completely do away with being able to put personalized ads and things on the videos. For one, I'm not monetized anyway, but two, like mine's not specifically made for kids, so hopefully I'll get monetized and be able to put those ads on there still at some point. At some point, the thing is like my content is kid friendly. It's kid friendly, but it's not made for kids. And then they also got the one, when you scroll down and you see the next thing is, do you want to restrict your videos to people who are 18 and over? And the thing is, you put no, because most of my content is friendly for kids. What they're defining as kids is 13 and over. My content is pretty safe for anybody that's 13 and over. Of course, except for like the Trailer Park Live and stuff like that, where I go live and I'm sitting there cursing up a storm and just being a little bit more myself. Those ones, a lot of times I'll mark those. I would mark some of those that they were age restricted content anyway, because like I get it, like you don't want your kid coming to my Trailer Park Live while I'm sitting there freaking out, talking trash. You know what I'm saying? So some of those I mark anyway. Really, all it's doing is just. Again, I get people's confusion, but we see so many people out there. I've seen so many videos of people like freaking out. So many things on Twitter, people freaking out like, oh, there we go. YouTube's just going to delete us. They're going to delete our channels. We're not going to be able to monetize our stuff, because we're talking about, Star Wars and the MCU and all these different things. So they're not going to allow us to make money. They're not going to push our videos. They're going to delete, like... Reading and comprehension go a long way, folks. They go a long way, okay? Just when something new comes out, I get it. People aren't used to change. People hate change, but you know what? I'll tell you this. Read a comic book, increase your knowledge, and increase your reading and comprehension skills, okay? Not everything is something to freak out about. All they're doing is they're just taking precautions to make sure that kids aren't watching content that isn't aimed at them, because I remember even watching even as much as long back as last year, watching some of the videos that would come up while my kids are watching content on YouTube. Like some of these videos, I'm like, ugh, like I wouldn't want my kid watching this stuff. Like just some of the even different, like it's actually made with kids in it, just like some of the actually kids directed content. I wouldn't say it's made for kids, but it was definitely directed at them. That I'm just like, no. No. But again, I'm a parent who monitors what my kids are doing and what they're watching quite often. And, I'm not somebody who's looking to like, I need the government to step in and decide what my kids can and can't watch. Because you know what? I can't take responsibility for myself or my kids. I expect the government to do it. I expect them to regulate what people are uploading. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's see. Rosetta Allen says Amazon Prime includes discounts for stuff and free shipping. Yeah, exactly. Along with, you get the Prime service where you can watch the movies. Yeah, it's not bad. Rule Gentry says $7 a month is only 23 cents a day. It's hardly a bank breaker. Exactly, it's not. But again, like I don't expect everybody to pay it, and certainly not everybody's going to want to subscribe to Disney Plus. And hey, man, I get it. I mean, you have and that's the good thing about it is you have all these different services, so you can be specific, so you can say I want to watch this, I don't want to watch that, I'm going to support this and not that. That's a great thing. But yeah, some people just aren't happy enough with that. Like that's not good enough. Just ridiculous stuff. Rosetta Allen says COPPA is the Fed stepping in for F-wit parents who won't raise their own stupid kid. Right. Yes, that's exactly what I was just saying there, Rosetta Allen. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I get it. I get that they gotta have some regulations. I'm okay with them regulating it somewhat, but at some point the government or somebody's got to come in and like people just don't learn their lessons. And of course, and that's just the way the world is. There's not, not everybody is fit to be parents. Not everybody is good parents. Some people are, a matter of fact, downright bad parents, like the worst in the world. But at some point, you have to take personal responsibility for yourself and for your kids and what they're consuming, what they are watching. And that's just a sad thing, in these days anyway, where, there's just so much stuff going out there. There's so much misinformation, so many people that don't know what they're doing, and all these different kinds of things and then the thing is there's no excuse for it. We've got the internet. You got a question about something, you can ask it on the internet. You can find something out. You can look to all these different resources. And it's like, I say, the internet is probably the most underused resource that we have. You know what I'm saying? Yet people utilize it so much, but they utilize it for the wrong thing. You know what I mean? When you get on, get on Facebook and somebody asks like the stupid, like, hey, where's a good place to eat at? Where's a place to get a good cheeseburger here in town? Yelp. Go to Yelp and ask them. What are you asking? What are you asking on your page? What are you asking your friends for? I mean, if you're just wanting opinions, like, what to you is the best place in town? Not like, where can I go get a good burger? Like, just get on Yelp, get on your maps on your phone, and look up burger joints, fast food restaurants. Just do that. Like, you're asking, like, and I'm not gonna say it's a completely dumb question, if you're wanting somebody's actual input, but to be like, hey, where can I get some? Where can I go buy groceries in town? Like, at the grocery store. Well, where's the grocery store? Look it up. Kobe reviews movies. What's up, my brother? How you doing this morning? So yeah, Rosetta Allen, if you're still here, it's funny. I was going to talk more about comic books, but I see my hour is almost up here. I actually read this comic book right here. I didn't get all the way through it yet because it was kind of late last night when I got back home, from my kids being in karate class. But this comic book right here, Black Stars Above. Guys, I'm gonna do a review on this one. This one's on Vault Comics. You guys know I've been talking a lot about Vault Comics here on the channel, and I really like this story so far. I'm not sure that this book is completely for me, but I'm gonna definitely do some reviews on this series. But basically, what this is about is we see. This is so far what I've gotten out of the story is there's this young lady here who is they're basically trapped. It's winter time, and they are hunters, and they're trappers, and what they're doing is they sell, they obviously sell skins and pelts and things like that, because we see that their family thing is making moccasins. But what it is she's kind of stuck there, on their family ranch, if you will. And she's I believe it looks like she's French and Native American, and she's there wanting to leave her homestead and go and like see the world and things like that, but she's still stuck here basically doing this family trade, because back in the days, I mean, as much as even 100 years ago, people actually had trades, not jobs. I mean, you had something that you actually did for money, and that's what they were doing here. Obviously her family makes like moccasins and things like that. It was a really good book. It was a really good book so far, where we see her, she's writing. It looks like she's writing in a diary, maybe writing a book about her experiences growing up and things like that, and her family being fur trappers, and these kinds of things like that. And we can see that they're there in the dead of winter, freezing, hungry, and just things like that. Like the people you actually used to go through. Not like us. Sitting on our butts in our homes right now, saying, "Oh man, I'm so hungry. I wish there was a means for food." Like there's a means out there now. With our modern technology, but like here where they were actually having hunting and gathering and stuff like that. They didn't have the refrigerators and everything like that. Just to store the food for months on end. But it's been a pretty good book so far, as we see. This young lady is kind of struggling with wanting to go out and see the larger world, as opposed to being stuck there on her family farm. And she's actually gets talked to by her grandfather, no, actually her father, who's coming in saying, hey, there's this other boy, who's out there, the so and so's who, their son, he's of age too, like maybe you need to go get married to him. He needs somebody who knows the business, and these, just different kind of things like that, kind of like planned marriages and stuff like that. And I'm sure we could all relate to how that must be. You know what I'm saying? How like, oh, my parents expect me to marry somebody who does this and that. And we know that's certainly something that used to happen in society a lot, especially amongst like, you know, royal families and everything like that. Like you marry somebody else who's royalty, you don't just marry some peasant. But it's a pretty good book so far. It's a pretty good book. So I'm going to be reviewing that one. A very good read so far. And then the other one I still have to read is this one right here. This one is, God, what is it called? Folklords? Yeah, Folklords on Boom Studios. And they do, like Boom Studios, I mean, look at the art on that cover. Just absolutely beautiful. And they're like, their books are made really beautiful. Like they use a good weight paper. They're just a good, I don't know, they seem really good and good high quality books. But yeah, Rosette says, "Yeah, Volt's awesome. We all know that." Crazy Eyed Jedi. My kids were only allowed on the net in the 80s and 90s with an adult. Same with grandkids now. Same rule. Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing is like so many people nowadays they just hand their kids the phone like here, just leave me alone. It's like, man, come on, spend some time with your kids. At least a little bit of time, raise your kids right. Raise your kids right, We got to raise them, spend time with them. You got to instill your values in them. Don't let some TV show or actor or musician or something like that instill their values in them. You don't want that, trust me. I'm misguided. How you doing this morning? Rosetta Allen says French and Native is a common mix. The French fur trappers mingle with tribes a lot. Yeah, yeah. And I was gonna say, and that's what's going on a lot in this story. And we can see they were talking about Manitoba, so I mean they only mentioned Manitoba, so it's really hard to say exactly where they're at in this book because I mean it seems like they're in Canadian territories here certainly. So yeah, again, it was a really good book. I can't wait to get to the end of it and do a review on it because I've really enjoyed it so far. Um, yeah, yeah, awesome. Crazy Eye Jetta says, stay home. Rosetta Allen says the tribes didn't usually do marriage for job status, but the fur trappers did. Right, yeah. Agreed. Yeah, have to check that out. Yeah, it was a pretty good read. Like I said, it was called "The Black Stars Above," and this one right here is actually and it's an homage cover to God, what was it, to Frank Miller's Whiteout #1. Vault Comics has been doing a lot of these homage covers. Like I know last couple weeks ago, I've got Money Shot issue #1 that did like an homage cover to Fantastic Four. They did Relics of Youth issue #1 that did an homage cover for Deadly Class. Just some different things from Vault Comics. I really like what they're doing over there. And Vault Comics, man, I'm telling you, I've got to do a video kind of showcasing them, man, because they do an absolutely great job with their comic books. But anyway, guys, it's getting ready to be 9 o'clock here. Before I let you all go, I want to say thank you all so much to all my Patreon supporters and anybody who donates money to the channel. There's a link down in the description where if you'd like to, you can go donate as little as $1 and become a Patreon supporter, or you can even donate more, or you can donate even via Streamlabs, a direct donation. I do appreciate anybody who does go out and support the channel in that way. And again, it's not required or anything like that. I'm still sitting here flapping my gums and talking to the computer anyway, right? But to those of you who are Patreon supporters, thank you all so much. Pretty soon I will be placing that order so I can get my new green screen and bring you all some more, I guess some better content from what I was doing with some of the green screen stuff as well. And it'll be a lot easier to get Myrtle here on the channel because Myrtle, he don't like working with this background here for whatever reason, and it's been a while since we've seen Myrtle. But oh man, I'm telling you, Myrtle's been waiting to bring you guys some more reviews, and he's such a picky dude, man. You guys ever seen Myrtle? You all should go back and find some videos that have Myrtle in them and show him some love. But that's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed and click that little bell so you get notifications anytime I've uploaded new content. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you don't like it, feel free to give it a thumbs down. I don't take it personal. It's all good. But most of all, make sure you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Go out and read some comic books, y'all. And we'll see you in the next video. Later.